Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is...
Rye. Welcome to Ryusoulger episode 23. I'm gonna be honest, I'll be surprised if we hit 20 minutes on this one because what we have for you today is a recap episode. Not,
Which...
yeah, not as.
Isn't this the second one already?
Is it?
I want to say it is. I may be wrong.
I don't. I don't
But I want to say we
recall
got
there.
a...
I don't
I want to say we got a
recall.
small one, but I could be wrong and tying other things into this series.
Well,
I'll have to double check that.
this is a bit different from a standard recap because instead of focusing on plot points, it mainly focuses on the toy gimmick of the show, the Ryu Souls. And so it feels a bit less like a filler episode when it gives development to the arsenal that they use.
Even with the annoying flashbacks.
Yeah, it literally the episode's literally just going over what each one does. Like if they don't have a flashback for it, they use it in the scene. Like so, the Ryu souls that they use are more than just like artifacts. They're called souls because they have a piece of the soul from that Kishiryu inside of them. As a result, they also have a lifespan. They can be used up effectively, which is why it would be worthwhile to have more than just one copy of one.
Like, to me, this takes the Kyoryuger aspect of the soul batteries to a different level. Instead of it being something that can be recharged, it's, well, you gotta go find this shit.
Or
Rather,
trade it with someone else.
which adds a whole nother level of questions, honestly and truly. Outside of a few particular ones, which they've explained, which they do explain why it's, like Demi Volcano's Mera Mera Soul, why only Red uses that. It touches on that. It's like, but outside of those, it kind of makes you wonder why other Rangers don't use the ones that the other Rangers do. Because for the most part, they kind of stick to each kind of stick to their own personal power up boost, whatever the hell you want to call them, Kishiryu. Like outside of Bonba using the ball and chain one in the episode with Tank, the last episode with Tank Joe, that's been primarily Pink. Actually, I think she's been the only one to use that aside from Bonba now.
That was kind of her signature one, but doesn't she trade it away?
Yes, she changed it away in this episode.
I actually like the concept of that. Like we'll see them like use other styles that we've started to associate with those Ryu soldiers.
Like Pink using speed. Would be a nice touch.
Green using a heavy weapon.
Like it opens the doors for like the possibility of growth within the characters without having to get too insane with character development. This is a way to do character development without actual character development.
Without like shoving it in your face, like have it be something that just happens progressively.
Right. Because like it's one thing that I liked about Lupin Ranger. Like, don't get me wrong, Lupin Ranger is chock full of fucking character development. But because in that particular instance, that is what replaced 90% of the plot, it was very long and drawn out. So a lot of the character development happened in very, very small moments that had this cumulative effect overall. And this is another way to do that. Instead of it being character, the way Lupin Ranger was, it's more sly undertone. Here's, them using stuff and boosting their abilities to use other Kishiryu and that they don't normally use. It's another way to show growth, even if it is just from a power standpoint. Which after the last episode with Tank Joe, kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Well, for everybody but Asuna.
Oh, Asuna kicked his ass when she got mad. Asuna's great.
Though, like the one thing since it got skipped, Creon is fucking amazing.
Creon's the best character on the show. Of course, he's amazing.
Fucking, because the whole episode with it starts with him Creon looking at Wizuru going, "I've made a shit ton of Minosaur. Guess how many have worked? 0." And Wizuru basically going, "That's not a good thing." And Creon going, "Yeah, but
It
there's
can
only one way this.
It can only go from here." Like,
so fucking optimistic. It's amazing. Like, to me, this would have been an episode that I would have loved to see a little bit more interaction with Creon. I get why it doesn't, but still.
right.
Like, I would have liked Creon, like this would have been a good episode to do this type of thing, but have it be from, like, Creon briefing the new general.
Or, like, briefing the new monster and, like, alright, so here's what we tried before, here's why it failed, you're gonna learn from their mistakes.
Which, I mean, in the end, that's kind of what this was for. A little bit, I guess. Given Wizuru's plan. But, yeah, I think it would have been more interesting to see it from their side rather than the Ryusoulger side.
So, Ko's Suyo, which is one of his favorites because of how much it's helped him and worked for him, is dying. He could try to go and dig up a new one, like a fossil, which is how these are normally found. Or they could, do a group trade, between get all the Ryusoulgers together and see who has what to offer.
Like, I will admit, like, I get where this whole idea comes from, and it makes sense. It kind of leads back into the fact that they're all technically tribes. So the whole idea of trading one for another makes sense when you take it from a historical standpoint, that this is just the way it's always been done. As a trading of goods, per se. Which kind of adds to the whole Ryusoul tribe aspect of it. It's just kind of odd with 5 people.
It's supposed to be 6, but
Yeah, well, Canelo doesn't make it in time.
Right. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping that he would, like, be able to trade something. Like, hey, maybe he has some weird water soul that he doesn't use.
Or, hey, Red, I'll give you my lightning power-up for your Cosmoraptor.
I mean, okay, so the situation between Shadow Raptor and Shine Raptor's souls is weird because, uh, you know, they're two different souls that go to Kanalo and Co. And they combine together into one, but now who has them? Are they still separated again, or what? What's going on? And they just kind of
I
gloss over that in this episode that's all about the souls.
While it's glossed over, I'm pretty sure based on the preview spoilers for anybody who didn't pay attention to that, it is going to be covered next episode.
Okay. I watched it real quick, but uh,
Yeah, it's like the very last bit of the trailer or preview.
okay. So uh, Kanalo gets interrupted by his sister along the way, which I forgot she existed for a bit there. But the five main Ryu soldiers get together to discuss what they have for trading. And like we said before, it's just going over what each one does. Which, hey, it's a great reminder if you're having trouble keeping track, or if you didn't understand how one worked. Uh, Banba, the big show off, almost has a complete collection. So he has very little he actually needs. Uh, he accepts a trade with Ko, so Ko can get his Suyu Soul, even though he doesn't need the one Ko is offering. But then just refuses to trade for anything else that he already has.
Just for added measure, because it's Melto.
Moto gets shit on a lot this show.
He really does, but I've it's kind of odd and creepy in the long run, but that's kind of because he's already got somebody who's in love with him, which is odd and creepy. But the this like this whole trading thing and Bond's whole arrogance of ha 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 ha, he's a Pokemon collecting master in this particular genre of field. But him just going to Kongo, yeah, I'll trade you that. I don't care. And then just looking at Meldo going, nah, I've already got that one.
I'll pass.
And then seeing Pink and or Asuna and Toa trading theirs, their more signature ones, leads to the possibility of amazing things in the future. Or it'll just get ignored, one of the two.
I also saw his willing to trade with Ko for something he already had is that he respects Ko.
Even if they don't see eye to eye or seemingly get along.
Like that monster quite a few episodes back that separated people who had a strong bond with each other. Like Bomba was separated from Ko. Bomba respects Ko as a Ryusoulger.
Right.
Although everyone already has a speed soul that Toa wants to trade for, Asuna takes pity on him and trades with him anyways in the spirit of things. She trades him her big ball and chain. So I actually do hope we get something good from him having that.
Right. That, and I kind of want to see Asuna using the speed soul.
She already has one, but maybe this will incentivize her to actually use it.
Right, because to me, the idea of somebody basically being super fast and super strong, I really like that combination. But then again, that's because I watch a lot of American superheroes, and that's usually the combo. Like, but that add in the fact that this is the female, and the fact that the female is the strongest character on the show adds a dynamic that I really want to see played out.
And with Bomba having like as solid a collection as he does, the question comes of like, well, what do you not have? Well, he doesn't have Mara Soul, Dime Volcanoes, and Tiramigo explains that the Ryusouls only work for you if that Kishiryu accepts you as worthy of using it. So, for most Kishiryu, officially being a Ryusoulger is enough for them to acknowledge you, but there are special ones such as Dime Volcano who you really have to earn their trust.
Right, and then obviously their standard mechs as well, are kind of included in that with the way Tiramigo explains it, and because they have that bond between each other, and then which also obviously includes the two that Canelo has, Masarex, his primary mech, and the Thunder Sword, or Thunder Power Up.
Uh, Spino Thunder.
No, that the actual legitimate.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, his armor one.
Yeah. What I want to see the Kishiryu that belongs to.
Right? I swear to crap, if it's a freaking bird, I'm gonna be pissed. I am tired of that. The thunder
Like
power.
you're
the
tired of
thunder
lightning
mech.
birds?
Yes, I'm tired of fucking pterodactyl fucking thunderbirds.
Uh, so that's like pretty much the entire episode. That's like the good first half of the episode up until Kanalo finally arrives, and they ask him like, "Hey, so you got any interesting Ryu Souls?" And he pulls out a new one that he found. Uh, it is I don't remember what it's called, but it can grant wishes. Kanaya Soul. Fuck. Kanaya Soul. That's what it is. Set comes in and explains it. Yeah, it can grant wishes. And Kanalo only has one wish. Everyone has to stop him from using it before he wastes it on trying to get a bride.
So I'm gonna touch on a few things here. One, I'm really enjoying Set taking over Ui's dad's body, because I think it's just fucking hilarious when he fades away. Because I love the aspect of her dad just waking up in an entirely different spot, going, "What the fuck?"
Huh. Okay, I'm here now.
Or in this particular case, for some reason, talking about chicken wings.
He was dreaming about chicken wings, I bet.
I guess Set's hungry, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Tatsui is just hungry.
The only issue I have with that is this is the first time that Ui has seen this happen. She was a lot less concerned than I expected.
I'm sure they explained it to her.
Yeah, because she did kind of pop up. She did know what was going on. Because she's the one who pointed out. It was like, oh, look, it's Set. Which I want to be on the fly on the wall for that conversation. Oh, hey, by the way, your dad's possessed. I did like the fact that Ko was intelligent enough to explain why it was a bad idea for Canelo to try to grant that wish.
Right, like, you don't know how this works, like, you can't just force someone to be your bride, you gotta, like, earn that trust.
It's that if you do this, there's only one way this is gonna end, and that's horribly.
And even Kano admits, like, damn your logic.
Right, and I can firmly attest. Yeah, there's only one way that's gonna end. But and then everybody, who was it? Toa and Asuna get in on it, trying to grant wishes.
Uh, Toa wants to just wish to defeat the Druidons, which Melto chimes in and says, hold on, we don't know what that would do. We should think about this a bit more. Toa thinks that he's just scared, and Asuna is like, no, no, he's just saying we should think about this. And then everyone starts getting into a big argument over nothing.
Right, like the way that Set kind of described this makes me think that this is the whole reason why all the fucking tribes were fighting back in the day.
This Ryusoul in particular.
Like it makes sense because just out of nowhere, because they kind of explains like right at like out of nowhere, like all this shit started between the land and the water tribes, and I could see it being this aspect of because it pointed out that this particular Kishiryu hid itself underwater. So I could see it being that no, we're going to get it, and the water tribe going no, and the fight starting. It's like because we've only gotten, like Monster Rex's anger filled explanation of what happened, which pretty much comes down to his explanation comes down to, yeah, the land tribes are assholes. I mean that's pretty much the extent of the explanation. So it's like this would be a good explanation for, because we already see how they started kind of going at each other's throats, just these three.
And then, while all this arguing is going on, Oto, Kano's little sister, ends up taking the Ryusoul. Melto asks her to give it back, but she says, Melto-san, be quiet, and then takes off. And then Melto chases after her.
Uh, this is the point of the episode where everything was confirmed for me, because I was very, very curious as to why Oto just popped up. Though they did do a good job of explaining why nobody else thought it was odd. But I was confused by it. I'm like, because like you said, it's like, oh yeah, he does have a sister. Because last we were told, she went back to the palace underwater. So it was one I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then she grabs the thing and was like, oh, okay, yeah. Now it makes sense. Now I'm clued in. Like, I do like the fact that they touched on why nobody else thought it was odd.
Melto chases her to that Toei bridge. You know, the one that always appears.
Yeah, the same bridge, man.
Whenever they need an underpass battle by a river.
Like, I get the fact that we're gonna see shit reused and reused and reused for locations, because there are only so many places in Japan that you can film, and I guess Toei keeps getting hit with the fact that their places that they can film keep getting smaller and smaller, which is why we have so many that take place in the Ninja Village, or around the school, or just the same five quarries. But it's just weird to just constantly see. It's like, because as soon as every time I see it, I'm like, I link back to every single every series that I've seen that thing in, which is fucking all of them. It's like, oh yeah, a lot of good memories here.
Yeah, right over there is where Beast made his first henshin. Uh, and right over there is when Tokyo Blue had to like confront his childhood imaginary friend.
Yes, that's the first one that popped into my head. I just, for the life of me, I couldn't remember which Sentai member it was. I just remember it was Blue. And over there, the dead embodiment of, what was it, Black Falcon, a Black Condor, or whatever it was. Came
Oh,
back to life for a few minutes.
that's right. Yeah, lots of memories underneath this bridge. So Melto chases Oto here and starts attacking her. Uh, and when Ko questions him why, he reveals because that's not actually Oto. And surprise, it's Wizaru in disguise. Because the other day, when Melto was having tea with Oto, she said she was going to start calling him Melto-kun. But just now, she called him Melto-san, so he knew it was a fake. This begs the question from Kanelo, what were you doing having tea with my sister?
The point where I say amazing and creepy.
Oh,
Like they explain that it's okay because she's like over 100 years old.
right. It's like to them, she might as well be a 12-year-old girl, but you know.
Right. It's it looks creepy, like exceedingly creepy. But yeah, it's like I like the fact that they touched on the fact that nobody thought it was odd that she showed up. And kind of addressed why Melto was the one who figured out that not real. Though I am confused that nobody else physically stopped him from attacking Oto. They just kind of ran up and watched. And then went, "What are you doing?"
Well, for Ko specifically, like there was that episode long time ago where Ko learned that he needs to trust Melto more.
Right, which, I mean, it's been touched on and explained as like why this type of thing happened. It's just really, really odd that at least Canelo didn't try to protect Oto before the whole, yeah, no, that's Wiseru. Because I'm sorry, if I were to see somebody transform into a Power Ranger and start attacking any member of my family, yeah, I'm trying to punch him in the face before I get an explanation. Which I realize contradicts the whole point of me having watched 90% of the show and knowing that would only happen if it was a bad guy. But it would still be that initial reaction of to protect my family. So the fact that Canelo just basically goes, "What are you doing?" from the sidelines is like it's odd.
So the conclusion with the Kanae soul is that uh, they bubble it and let it float into space where it'll never be found, so they'll never be tempted to abuse its power. Uh, Ko can hear the spirit, the souls of the Kishiryu, and he can hear how sad that one is, that it is the cause of so much conflict when what it truly wishes for is peace. So they ultimately choose to not use it. They'll handle their situation with the Jordans themselves.
Which now we get to the point where I am conflicted because I sent you a message during before the podcast that Ko is very smart, but also very dumb.
Yep.
And here's the reason why I say that. Very, very intelligent. How do you stop everybody from fighting over this? Send it to space. Here's the problem with that. Where the fuck are the Jordion?
Uh,
In fucking space.
oh, yeah, yeah. They fled the Earth when the meteor happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
You
basically
know
just went,
what? You
here,
know
have this
what?
one.
That was a little short-sighted.
Right? Like I get the logic behind it, and I understand that this is something that the odds of this biting them in the ass are slim to none. But yeah, you basically went, here, bad guys, have this. That'd be like, say, we went back to Zhu Ranger, original Mighty Morphin Sentai. And the Sentai team, let's change things for sake of argument. And the Sentai team found Bird Eye's chamber and went, you know what? We're going to keep people from opening this. Let's send it to the moon. It's essentially the same damn thing. We're going to put this near the bad guys. Like,
It reminded me of Magi Ranger, where they find like the genie and they're like, oh, you King Ryan Rush is white, right? We'll defeat our enemies. And he can't just like do that, but he's like, I'm sure that wish will come true. It'll just take some time, meaning that like they'll work on it together, kind of thing.
right. Like, in my head, when they did the whole, when Toe was talking about wishing to defeat the Jordians, I was expecting them to try that, and that basically what they get told. That, okay, you guys are still going to have to do it, though. Like, and that's the issue with series having wishes, is it's hard to rationalize them when you have something as easy as, hey, fuck up the bad guys. So removing that from the equation, or justifying it in that, oh well, this can't be it's not going to be an instant wish, but everything should kind of work out. It makes sense in the long run for that. It's like, but the fact that this series went a little bit further with it and went, we don't know how that one would play out, because defeat the Jordians could be inferred on many different levels. Defeat them in the past, defeat them in the future, defeat them now. It could fuck with a ton of shit, in theory. So the fact that they kind of just went, yep, nope, we're just not even gonna deal with this one. Bye. I like that aspect.
So that is pretty much it for this episode. The Ryu souls have actual like souls in them. Cole can hear them. Everyone traded a few souls around. Ko ended up with one he normally uses anyways. And Melto is dating a 12-year-old girl. Any questions?
He's dating a 100 and some odd year old girl who just happens to look 12.
The actress is 12.
We ignore that aspect. Otherwise, it just sounds really, really bad. I mean,
I know, but still.
It's bad all the way around. But yeah. Which I firmly believe that in this particular instance, it's more Ko just kind of, or not Ko, Melto just kind of humoring her. Because in that aspect of she's stuck in a castle by herself underwater, and it's like, she doesn't get out much. Let's be friendly, be nice, and yeah, humor the little kid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because otherwise the implications are really really being disturbing. Which for Sentai would be very very strange. Usually the creepy and weird stuff happens in Rider, where the themes are usually a little bit more adult.
Next episode preview. It looks like the next episode is going to be focused on Kanalo, and more about his quest to look for a bride. And this is when it occurred to me. They are going to be carrying that throughout this entire show.
Which I'm okay with. Like, this is one of those things that it's really minor to the story and really doesn't affect anything. So it would be really dumb for them to just up and drop it. And or because this can go one of two ways story wise. They can either get him married, which, or they can just drop it. Those are the two primary ways. The neither one of them has a humorous outcome or entertainment value. Whereas, because the whole purpose of him being there is to get married.
Right.
So in theory, he gets married, he leaves. The odds of that happening are slim to none. It's Sentai, but or they just drop it. He gives up on his quest until they get rid of the Jordians to make things easier for him to find a wife. Or they just have him pursue it, which is the funnier option because it's just funny to watch him fail.
Kind of.
And also, next episode, he gets to use Cosmo Raptor.
Yeah, so I think he still has Shadow Raptor, Ko still has Shine Raptor, and then they're just going to borrow the other one from each other depending on what the plot demands.
Right. It's either that or it created two Kishiryu Soul thingy pieces. So, since we're at the end of the episode, I had a thought. Because one of the things we were questioning for quite a while was the frickin' transformation.
Which one?
Any of theirs?
Oh, like the sequence with the whole dancing knights?
Yes. I figured it out.
Okay.
It's really dumb, but I figured it out. It's the only thing that makes sense. Okay, so they are considered, dinosaur knights.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's why the little things pop up and have little knights.
Right.
As for the weird dancing, what else are they?
What do you mean, what else are they?
The Ryusoulgers are tribes.
Oh, yeah, they're the Ryusoul tribe, yeah.
Hence the weird music and dancing.
Yeah, okay, tribal stuff.
Right. It's the only thing that makes sense. They're tribal knights. It literally popped into my head as they were going over that henshin. Or going over the henshin, and then I'm like, oh yeah, tribal. It took 23 episodes for it to click that was tribal-ish.
I still prefer the alternative henshin where the armor floats around them and then attaches itself to their bodies.
Oh yes, the like the in-fight ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much better, in my opinion. Like, but then again, I've preferred those type of henshins over the standard let's line up and nobody does anything for 20 minutes. Like, it makes more sense for them to, like, henshin mid-fight. Or not so much mid-fight, but literally start fighting then henshin. Rather than both teams lining up on the other side of a field and then transforming while both teams just stands there and looks at each other. That in this particular show, it just looks better. It's less odd. Though since Decade's here or not here, I feel I have to make a point of mentioning something that they did that I feel Decade would enjoy.
What happened?
The When they're getting ready to send off uh Kanea Soul,
Yes.
the insert song in the background, a piano version of the opening theme song,
Oh, I
which
hadn't noticed.
it sounds really really good. Like the music for this show is something that I've really really enjoyed, even just like for some strange reason, the Irish piratey music that is 90% of it. That's not theme song music. 90% of it, the background music outside of, like the Henshin themes or the Ranger themes or the actual fight scenes, is literally like Irish pirate music. It's really strange when you think about it, but it sounds really good.
So, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for the finale of Kamen Rider Zeo, and Thursday for more Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all for joining us. Please stop by for tomorrow's episode for the end of an era, because this episode was the final episode for the Heisei Generation Riders. Thank you all for listening. See you next time.